So the thing is, this is the end of the story. That's the beginning and the end of the story. Is that the story is, this is the end of the story. What is? Just this. What is the end of the story. Now, people talk about the end of the me, and lots of people are looking for the end of the me. The end of the me story. But the me story is already ended. This is the end of the me, the end of the story. The end of the story is the beginning of the story. There is no story. So the beginning and the end are, okay, is this, but it's the end because it's full stop. There's no story here. This is where stories go to end. Here, where it is. What's happening, what is. It's like a black hole. Okay, it just sucks all the stories. They disappear. There are no stories in here. There's never been a story here. Okay, that's why I'm saying it's the end of the story. It's the end of the me. Never been a me here. Me is a story, right? So the story, everybody wants to get rid of the story, wants to make the story end, but the story never ends because the story is a story. There's no end to the story. There's no end to the me story. Okay, the story is where all the middles are. I mean, I'm just saying the story is where it's all going on. The story is always in progress. In other words, it's not beginning, it's not ending. It's just appearing and going on. And the story is always about perfecting this. But this is already perfect, right? That's why it's the end of the story. All the story is about perfecting. And when it gets perfect, then there's no more story, right? Okay, this is what is perfect. This is the end of the story. Or you could call it the beginning, because it's beginning and end with no middle, right? The middle is the narrative, the journey of every story. Every story is a journey, right? But the journey of every story is about getting perfect, becoming what it needs to be, becoming itself, becoming realized as the story. That's me. I'm here in my story trying to get it right, get it realized as okay, as just okay. Instead of on the way to okay, which it is in the story. Again, that's every story. Every story is a journey of me through Hillendale, through oceans and mountains and whatever's in the story, but on the way, another step, another day, to my realization, to my completion of the story, of the aim of the story, the point of it. So it's on the way. So it's always in the middle, because it's always on the way. That's why I said the middle. The stories are the middle. And that's why we're saying, well, this here is the end, or the beginning, whatever you want. It's zero or infinity. There's no zero and there's no infinity in the story. The me is always moving in the story from one place to another. Never at zero or never at infinity. Always in somewhere along in the story, moving from one spot to another, from one square to another, one number to another, right? I say number because you can always, you can put a number on where I am in my story, you know? Well, I'm 6 on the way to 10, or today's a 2. You know, it's always got that. I mean, that's part of the story. There's always an evaluation of where I am in relation to everything else, in relation to where I want to be, in relation to where I was yesterday. So I'm saying you can put a number on where I am, you know, compare it to yesterday, compare it to where I'm going to be or hope to be, whatever. So that's all, that's the journey in the story. But this, where's that? Where's this? It's the end of the story. There isn't any story. There's no story here. It's the end of the story. It's the end of everything. And that's why it's nothing, and that's why it's useless. This communication is completely useless. Hopeless, useless, pointless, meaningless. Where? All the meaning is in the story. All the use. Everything useful is in the story. You know? Want to get something done, that's in the story. Well, there's nothing to do here. Here in what is, it's just what is. Period. That's why it's the end. The full stop. And the beginning. Because it's the birth of everything. It's the birth of every moment. The parent moment. There aren't any moments, it's just this. But it all shows up here, it all appears here. But it's not going anywhere. Because it's ended. So the end of the story, the end of the person, the end of me, is also the end of the search. The end of seeking. What are you going to seek for here? There isn't anything. Everything is back in the journey, on the road, in the story. And if there's an interest in the story, then you're not going to, this video is not going to be for you because this is the end. Just reporting, pointing to what's here. There's no story here, the end of the story. So, again, if there's an interest in finding something, finding a solution, finding freedom, finding whatever, that stuff is all back in some story or other. And that would be in another video, really. Because this is non-duality. No two. Just what is. Without a second. Without another. Without it getting anywhere, going somewhere. Or becoming anything that it isn't already. Anything that isn't right here. Just as it is. That's it.